Hello, everyone. Hello, Anna. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. So I think we couldn't do last episode of our Andy Business Club live event. So we do apologize for that because it was summer holiday and we got busy. So this busy time, but
Yeah.
still, we have managed today. So thank you everyone for joining today's live webinar. I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui and I have Anna Brovington with me. So today we're going to be discussing personalized marketing, isn't it, Anna?
Yeah, absolutely. And in particular, like AI, the AI side of it, which is a hot topic at the moment. One of my personalized marketing is one of my favorite things because every stat tells you, particularly as the younger generations come on, that that's what people want. They want stuff that is tailored to them, that is not random. So this is going to be such a good topic.
I totally agree with you because, you know, before AI kicked in last couple of years, people used to, struggle, something like that. As a new divergent person myself, I also struggle in different ways. But when we got the AI,
Mm.
some of the things that we think that okay, it's like multiverse, it's just like multi things that our brain, three-dimensional things, all those things came alive. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It just before we started, I was talking about all the things that our AI is opening up, wasn't I? Of all these ideas I've got. Oh goodness, don't give anyone with ADHD like me AI. The possibilities are so endless, aren't they? Of what you can create and do with it, because it's just so broad. So I'm so excited about the technology, but I have got now about 6 projects going on at one time because I want to do this with it and I want to do that. I was just saying to Dr. Shah, I'm creating an Anabot because I want to put all my knowledge into Notebook LM and use it as a little sort of query bot that my community can use. And it's things like not just helping me, but helping my customers as well. How I can use it, but because it's so broad, it's quite daunting as well, isn't it, Dr. Shah?
I totally agree because I was talking one of my business partners, okay, and he was saying that I have lots of ideas, okay, and
Mm,
when you write it down, my ideas is dumped on a piece of paper, so my brain is empty, so I can generate more. When AI kicked in, I also have the same thing that lots of ideas, but when I dump that on I cannot do it on a piece of paper because I'm dyslexic. So what I do, I dump on a Excel documents or a digital documents. But after, when AI kicked in, now I dump that idea to my AI engine.
yeah, same, exactly the same. I've got little folders of lots of different chats where sometimes it's not gone anywhere, but I love that, like ChatGPT. I love it where you can do a project, so you can just dump some ideas, and then when you're doing a future project, it remembers them, and then it can reference them as well. So it's absolutely brilliant.
Mhm. And when talking about as we you are in marketing and we also do marketing, and when is marketing we do marketing, is most of the thing people sometimes they don't get the essence of personalization because
Yeah.
when you do marketing, we think that everyone is our customer, but that's not true. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Marketing your company and the market persona is has to be aligned. Why? Because I have a test, and that test is not for everyone. That test for specific people, they will nurture your idea to the next levels,
Mm.
and that's why you need personalized marketing. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, personalized marketing is one of my favorite things because exactly that, because people, when they try and market to everyone, like I feel like the marketing becomes very generic. So I used to work with a brand that serviced lots and lots of different industries. They were a digital marketing company, very big, well-known one, and they serviced lots of different industries. So it was like lawyers, accountants, plumbing, construction, all everything, cleaners, everything, and then they're sort of they had a very broad. but there were features within that which were pumped and sort of like the size of the amount of marketing beginners in marketing. And what they did initially is they put ads out for, come with us and we'll start off with marketing and get you going on your journey. The problem is, like, it was just pictures of people, just random people. So it could be a plumber or a lawyer or something things. But the thing is, what we do is we really resonate with stuff that looks like us and sounds like us. So if you're a lawyer and you see a picture of a plumber, you're like, oh, well, I'm not in the trades. It doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't, that ad doesn't resonate with me. Whereas if you see a picture of another lawyer and a testimonial from a lawyer popping up on your marketing, you resonate with it. And there's a lot of, I can't remember what the psychology is called, but it's around these sort of groups that we associate in life with. There was a really good example of, I think it was HMRC, where when they were trying to get people to pay their tax on time, what they started doing is saying, people in your area, or it was your postcode, paid their tax 20 days early. And because that was our sort of one of the groups that we belong to, which is people local to us, we were like, oh, well, if everyone else does it, oh, I better do it. Yeah. And the same with lawyers. If you're a lawyer, you belong to a sort of lawyer. So I'm ex-marketing. I'm in the groups like mums and marketing. I'm mum and I'm marketing. That's two of my groups, like my little groups of who I identify with. I'm neurodivergent, so that's another group that I identify with. And we've got to find people's little who they identify with and what their groups are, and sort of show that we are for them. I mean, it's like you wouldn't put pictures of young people if you were selling retirement housing, would you? You've got to find your little segments and that.
I totally agree with you, because when someone starts present days, there are many marketing companies, thousands, even more than that, and everyone has a different niche. But working in the marketing for last 20 years, more than 20 years, when I started as a newcomer back in 2005, 2006, I thought that, okay, I'm for everyone. I'm going to serve the world, change these things. But, after working 20 years, I found my niche thing. Like, okay, no, I'm not for everyone. Okay, I'm just for particularly these guys or these guys or these guys. And I would only support these guys because they will understand my mentality. I will understand them properly. And when the matchmaking is done, we will serve each other very well, isn't it? So today, as personalized marketing, we're going to be talking about AI, how they can improve your personalization, how you can search for your new clients, okay? How you can be very focused and then create your momentum. We have a message from John, and he said, always an interesting topic, as you know, Nana. I am becoming more worried and
cynical about where this is all going. Oh, John and I had a talk. He's been talking about things like Sora and AI in video a lot recently, with how real some of these things are getting. So things like deep fakes and etc. How AI is being, it's getting amazing. It is really getting amazing, but there's this worry of it can now replicate your voice. It can now replicate you on video. It's starting to. We are seeing sort of like maybe job shifts and job changes and things like that. And I think John is right to be worried, because there's always huge change with things like this, and we've got, this is why they're trying to start putting checks and balances in now to make sure it's like a safe change, how we can identify when things are real or fake, etc. Because this is, it's a huge shift and we're moving very fast. There's a really interesting story in Matthew Syed's Rebel Ideas. I know I quote this book quite a lot. and it talks about the Industrial Revolution and things like that, and it talks about when we moved from steam power to electricity, and they expected it to be a quick move, but it wasn't, because people were really cynical about electricity. So actually they stayed on steam power, and it actually delayed sort of like the evolution of what we do for quite a long time, because we didn't embrace it. And I think there's this line between embracing stuff and being cautious, because I loved AI, but do I trust everyone that's developed an AI system, in the capitalist society that we've got? Probably not, because there are people that use things for unscrupulous things. Even pre-AI, there's hackers, there's cybersecurity problems. So, everything we have to proceed with caution. But I think that's where education lies in. I don't know about you, Dr. Sharp, educating people on how things work, how to spot fakes, how to do your due diligence, and making sure that we're not. I think, John, you might have mentioned this before as well, where we're outsourcing our brains sometimes to it. I know Mark Schaefer, the author, he talks about it in his How AI is Changing Customer Behavior book, which is around people's behaviors actually changing because of AI. So there is some education bit, I think, there definitely, but that's why we do these, isn't it, to sort of teach people how to navigate these topics.
I totally agree with you, because we have done last year, we are doing this year, and this year also we are just finishing this year in next 2 months, 3 months time. And we talk about marketing, we talk about personalization, we talk about ND mentors, ND special business people, entrepreneur, and all those things we talk about. And the core motivation for us to engage people, to support them with understanding of knowledge, how diverse people are and how they are changing. I have found few things working with people after the AI kicked in. People normally, some of them were very afraid. They didn't know what to do, and some of them utilize it in a way it shouldn't be like that. Some people, they utilize it better. Okay,
Yeah.
so we talk about, I think, one of our programs, that you can utilize AI, but you have to have human thinking on that. You have to have personalization in there, because AI, they understand what you are doing, what you wanted to tell them to do, but they don't understand the heart, isn't it? They don't have that. So when you write something, personalize it, to make it yourselves. As an academic myself, we always tell people that you're going to be always stealing things from other writers, but recognize them, refer them to your literature. Praise them for their work, and then when other person is referring you, you're going to be that writer that you thinking that you are. So in AI and all personalization, all things, I think okay, I have a technical issue.
Oh.
Okay, are you there?
Yep.
Yeah, so I just had a glitch here, because I just wanted to share that I'm not in the UK. I'm in Bangladesh. So in Bangladesh there is load shedding and all those things, but I think we will cover there. I had it just glitch here, so I was a couple of seconds out. But as I said, so when you do things, personalize those things for you and for your clients, because otherwise, AI will have no meaning.
Yeah, and I think the thing is with this stuff, if I did a talk a couple of months ago on amplifying inequalities, the hidden bias in data, and it was around being cautious of how we interact with AI, making sure we're not amplifying biases, and things like that. And a lot of the stuff you can do to sort of make sure it's a bit safer. There's things like making sure you're prompting well, making sure that information you put in is really useful. I'm a big fan of putting my own information into AI and using that, because I know that it's high quality, I know that it's truthful, I know that it's accurate. Because the thing is, AI, it gathers information from the entire, everywhere, and everything, legally and illegally, and it can't, like, but actually there's not always the human thinking. It can't always tell what's good quality, what's bad quality. This is why I always say that ChatGPT doesn't write very well, because there's more bad copywriters in the world than there are good copywriters. And so it's learned bad habits, and it's learned how to write, in not a great way. If it had just been fed loads of beautifully written copy, maybe it would write a little bit better, because what it's doing is just averaging a lot of stuff. So what I tend to do is when I'm, particularly if it's something that's going to be customer facing, I'll like to put lots of my content in, use that like the Anna bot that I'm creating. It's all my content that I've created that I know is solid, it's really good and really useful. I'm going to create a bot where people can query all of my content and ask it questions around marketing, because I know that it will come out with some really good quality stuff, rather than maybe when I've asked ChatGPT stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't think that's a very good idea, because I know marketing, I'm an expert, so I know the answers are truthful. But I was telling Dr. Shah just before we joined that I went to a conference yesterday, which was Neurodiversity and Disabilities in Business, and a company called, I think it was something like Bravo Zulu AI Consulting, I think that was their name. They did a nice little app which used ChatGPT as the base, and it was a customer-facing one for children, like special educational needs children, like my son, parents of children that needed help in school and needed to find out about, schools and SEN, EHCPs, etc. And what they'd done is they'd been given this huge, big document base of from the council, proper, local, good quality knowledge and they put it into this GPT, and that's what it queried. So you could voice ask it, or you could type in, and you could ask it, how do I get my son sent to a SEND school, or who do I need to ask for this, or what do I need to fill in for this, and it would answer you in a good quality fashion, which is fantastic, because if you've got think about this personalization, having this big sort of resource database of hundreds of different documents, and people don't know what they want, how to find it, is incredibly hard. But if you've got an AI one where you can go, I've got a specific issue, help me with it, but you're using this good quality information to bring out the information they need. This is like the absolute brilliance of AI. It's that very personalized response marketing to specific questions, specific needs. And I love that example. I wish that was around when I was first navigating it.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you, Anna, because I just wanted to share one thing. I think this is very important. As I utilize AI, and that's most of the people utilize AI, academics, non-academics, marketing people, business people, everyone. So I think I have another glitch, and
we can still see you, luckily.
I think I have another glitch. So sorry for that. So as I said, most of the people usually use AI, and there was some research that AI can write better than academics. Sometimes in a way it is true. And one thing that I experience, like a case study, I want AI to find me some case studies on specifically technology. Like, okay, find me some case studies on technology, and can you suggest me how can I write a case study on that? So what it did, it found me the case studies and write me the way that I wanted to present it. When I'm reviewing it, I said, okay, can you share me the reference that you have mentioned there? And he said, there is no reference. I said, why there is no reference? I made it up.
I love that. Oh, bless its heart.
So I said, I told you to find some case studies because I need some case studies and I wanted to use them, but you made it up. No, it will not work. There isn't anything that you can make it up. Okay, so find me a case studies of this subject and don't do anything. Just find me some. And then it gave me like a couple of case studies of the real subject with link and proven link. And I have to go each and every link to see are they are right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think some of the people of the audience they're watching today, they might experience the same thing. So and I have seen some of the posts on LinkedIn and Facebook, and okay, they are saying something, and at the end, it's not the right thing. So they
Yeah.
just did that, copied it, pasted it, and posted it. So as today we are discussing personalized marketing, I think you need to understand when you create personalized marketing, whatever you write with AI, investigate that is right point or that is the right thing that you're talking about. I think we have a comment from Thomas. Thank you, Thomas, for your comment. So, is AI and the use of AI marketing platforms leading small business owners down a rabbit hole and away from their starting point and the why they got into business in the first place? That's a very interesting topic, Thomas. Thank you very much. I think we would talk about that. We love to. What do you think, Anna?
Yeah, do you know what? It is really interesting, and I think it's the problem with AI is that it's like with anything business, it's what you put in, is what you get out of it. And this is why recently I've been doing a lot of talking around the topic of vision, mission, and values and goals.
Mhm.
When I do marketing and looking at like things like Simon Sinek's Why. It's if anyone hasn't read it or watched the TED talk, I highly recommend it. Simon Sinek starts with why, and it's exactly what Thomas is saying around like why we're getting into business, what's our purpose, because otherwise, a bit like going back to what we were talking about earlier, being too generic, we're for everyone, when actually we're not for everyone. For example, with me, like my personal business, Creating the Kev, is my thing is that I'm helping founders that are hands-on in their business, particularly STEM ones, that they wanted to start a business because they wanted to do what they loved, which is coding. It could be, accountancy, whatever it is. It's they want to do what they love. They don't have any business skills. They hate business. In fact, when I did a voice of customer research recently and looked at what people think about it, and they were like, "I hate marketing," all in capital letters. They said there's nothing worse than marketing my business and finding customers. They're very passionate about it. If someone like someone like a Richard Branson who maybe owned a business because he wanted to run a business, he's not my customer at all, because I don't want people that have the business skills and want to run businesses. So I'm very much in all my language. That's who I'm helping. It's people that are hands-on, that don't know business, that really hate it, really quite passionate about their struggle with it. And because I'm a techie from my background, ex-programmer, I like STEM businesses as well. And so I'm really quite niche in who I'm helping. And the problem is, the thing is, because I know who I'm helping. When I use AI, I use it with that lens of who I'm helping, because that's what I'm experienced to do. So when I use AI, I get really targeted quality stuff out of it, which aimed at my audience. I've trained it on, my purpose, my vision, everything. So I find it very niche. It comes out very niche for me, particularly when I'm in my business folder.
Mhm.
If you don't know your vision, purpose, and I think this is the problem, sometimes people aren't sure of their why. or don't know how to articulate it, or aren't considering it. So when you use AI, you go, write me a blog on being an accountant, or write me a blog on, content marketing. You don't put an audience in. You don't put what their pain point is. There's no information. So you end up something so generic, which exactly what Tommy said. It takes away from your why. Who are you? Who are you targeting? And that's the problem with AI, because it will do what you ask most of the time, unless you ask it to give you questions. So the one thing I say, if you're not sure of your why, or you're not sure of that, get it to ask you questions back. So say, I want to write a blog about being an accountant. What questions you need to ask me to fill this in? And then it's very good at asking really pertinent questions that give you a rounded blog that kind of considers your why. But I would say a lot of people don't know their why. That's the problem. And I try and do the vision mission with as many people as possible, because even as an experienced marketeer, I'm still trying to discover my USP, who I'm definitely for, what problem I'm solving, just niching it down. And people don't know how to do that, I think.
Mhm. I totally agree with you because, when we write with AI, it's sometimes you need to think about how do you write, because that's you just said that you ask something and it will give a plain thing.
Mm.
And it's simple because you need to ask them. We do like 5 key points you need to include when you're asking them, like what's the motivation,
Mm.
okay, what's the outcome, okay, who is the audience for, okay, how you want to be, because you have a style, and that AI engine should understand how do you write. Otherwise, you cannot personalize your things. And the last thing is this: what language you're going to be using it for. Like you're going to be using it for people they are tech savvy, or you're going to be using it for people they are like 12 years old, or people they are 17 years old. Because those are the things, if you don't direct AI to write specifically and giving them enough resources, because we develop AI systems, and whatever we develop, we prioritize the AI queue making, like, okay, how AI will conduct its work, referring to the different key points. Like, okay, my business, like if it's accountant business, you cannot include there something that is non-accounting thing. If you are thinking about your client and the genre, I would say that what specification you want, what type of customer. That's why this personalization kicked in. And I think, Thomas, you are right, because you need to create the persona first,
Mm.
personalize it, make it happen, and then it's not over. You need to read every sentence, every word. It is right. If you are adding references, as I said, AI made up. I made it up. I said, okay, that's a good word, but I don't want you to make it up because I want a real example. I want a real company. You find me a company, and then it can.
Do you
And
know,
I
it's
think
funny
my
because mine did it
system
the other day.
in a problematic way.
Oh, you're having a problem again.
And are you there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're here. Yeah, yeah. I'd one the other day. I was writing a blog, and I'd got a transcript, and I said, "Oh, can you use this transcript to just write me something?" It wasn't. I was going to sort of edit it afterwards, but I wanted a draft version, and I gave him my transcript of the thing that I'd spoken about, and then it decided to put a story by me in it that didn't exist, and I was reading. I was like, I haven't done that. But it just decided, because I'd said that I wanted a story in it. I meant a story from my transcript, not from a made up one. But this is the thing. Sometimes you have to be really specific with it, because it's a bit like, it's funny. Like I was watching this thing the other day. It was my neuro teachers, and she was talking about speaking to autistic children, and she was saying about questioning them and things. And she said, she had this new pupil to the school, and she'd said to him, they'd shown him around the school, and she said, do you have any questions? And he said, oh, what's the highest point and the lowest point in the building? And she was like, oh, that's really interesting. So they actually did go and find it. And then she went afterwards, so they came back finished, and then she said, oh, have you got any more questions? And he said something around like, what's going to happen to all the bees? Because he's really into insects. And she said that wasn't his problem. I just asked him, had he have any questions? She hadn't put any context behind it or any reasoning behind it. And this is what we do. Sometimes we make assumptions when we're speaking to people that they know what we're talking about. And AI is very similar. We think we know what it's going to talk about. So we tend to make our prompting too open-ended, don't we? And not enough information in there, when actually we should be questioning it, giving it information and making sure we're not making assumptions. I mean, when I did my my talk the other day, AI does it has a lot of biases in it. So things like when I asked it to do an image of a startup founder, and it showed me this like late 20s guy, glasses, sort of bit of beard and everything. And then I asked it again to create me another one, and it gave me the same guy. And then I opened another chat window and asked it to do me a startup founder, and it created another one. And then I used Gemini, and then I used Copilot, and they all created me almost the same identical guy. And it had made an assumption like that startup meant technical, and that and that I wanted like the sort of like what everyone perceives a startup founder to be. It made loads of assumptions of what I hadn't asked it to do. Where a startup founder could be a coffee shop owner, or it could be a plumber, it could be anyone, but it sort of made these assumptions because I hadn't told it what I was thinking. So we have to be really careful when we're prompting, because it's not a mind reader, although it sometimes tries to be, and sometimes we can be folded in a sort of lulled into this sort of false sense of security that it knows what we want, but actually it's guessing, and actually we need to make sure it's not guessing, I guess.
I absolutely agree with you. Like as Tom said, that people are or getting down to the rabbit holes and away from their starting points. I think that's true, because they are so dependent on AI that they think, okay, they can do everything. But as a person, you are good with something and you are not good with other things. So if you are not good with some other things, I think that should be handled by a professional person. They good at. I think this motivation, if someone they are a new innovator, or they are starting their business, yes, and they're starting with, if you don't have funding, you can have jack of all trades, but this jack of all trade will not develop in next day. It takes ages, even weeks and months or years, to become successful, specifically in any trade. And if you cannot do it, you have to seek professional advice, professional people to do that work for you. Some people, they are multitasking, but you have a limit. I understand. I'm multitasking, but I have a limit. So I used to do a lot of marketing beats on all those things, but now I cannot do it. Why? I'm concentrating to develop my skills to the next dimension. So if I wanted to consider to the next dimension, then I should work on that, not to do everything. And that's not possible. And it's not possible. So thank you, Tom, for your questions. I think viewers, they're watching today, they will understand it. Yes, you can be a jack of all trades, but think about your business growth and your focus point, as well as all the things that you wanted to achieve. You wanted to achieve everything by yourself, you can't. That will never work.
Yeah, and do you know what? For me, AI it's my stopgap between, it's that gap between doing everything yourself and being able to hire people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the, for small business owners, that's a really good place that it sits, because although like AI helps me a lot with times, it will help me with research, it will help me with loads of areas. And since it's been there, my work, it has definitely eased my workload. You still have that mental load because you still have to prompt AI and think about stuff and do everything yourself. So like, I don't feel like it's a replacement for growth and hiring people and getting staff, etc., because AI can't do everything either. But it's one of those, I feel like it's going to be that change where, because you can't get much grants and funding these days, it's somewhere where that you'll be able to, it's that awkward gap where it's that gap between you on your own and you can't afford to hire anyone. So AI is that sort of, maybe will help you grow. Instead of getting a grant or funding, which would maybe lead you to get your first hire, you use a bit of AI to be almost a second person, so that you can sort of then leapfrog to that sort of hiring people. Because from my perspective, if you're wanting to grow your business bigger, what you can do is then, once you start hiring people, I mean, they can use AI as well. I'm not saying don't stop using AI, but it means you can then start concentrating more on the why, outsource some of these tasks to humans that take that mental load off. Because I think that's the one thing that AI doesn't do. As a business owner, you need to still know what you need to do. Your marketing, your sales, your this, that, the other. It sits in there all the time. And you can't, it's really hard to outsource all of that. You can use AI to execute those tasks, but actually knowing everything you need to do tends to still sit in your brain. I still know, I've got to market because I've got my new community. I've got to do this. I can't outsource that. But if actually I've had another person, I probably could outsource my brain to them. So I would say, like, don't use it completely as a reason not to hire people, because you might want to outsource that brain some of your time, so you can go on holiday or stop answering your emails at 12 o'clock at night. But it's that real great bit, that growth section, where you're like, I just need to get enough money to get an extra person. That's sort of how I use it.
I express the same thing. So Thomas, I think we have answered your questions. To everyone, today we are discussing AI for personalized marketing. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask us. We have a few more questions that already on our panel, and we're going to be answering those very soon. Today, I'm Dr. 𝐄𝐯𝐿, and I have Anna Bromington, and we are discussing personalized marketing. And we're going to be answering all of your questions if you have any. We are nearly end of our session, but we have another 15 minutes so on, and we're going to be discussing more on how you can create personalized marketing. So next question from Muhammad Farguddin. How AI changing the way brands understand and predict customer behavior in real time? That's a good question.
Do you know what? I'm doing a data analyst course at the moment, HTQ in data analyst course. And it's interesting, we've just sort of covered some of this, in that one of my areas that I think it's really good for is understanding qualitative research. Because quantitative research has always been reasonably easy to understand. You can plug it into a dashboard, you can see all the data and graphs. But for me, it's changed the game on qualitative research, which if anyone's listening doesn't know, so quantitative is like the numbers and figures. Qualitative is more the the statements, the customer reviews, things like that. So what I love is how this is changing the game, because I remember before, you got loads of testimonials and you read through a few, and if you're a big company in particular, there's too many to read through, and you're like, I'm trying to get the gist of this, but it's too many. But that's where the gold really lies, because when people spend time leaving a review or some feedback, it tends to be having those little gold nuggets in them. This is why one of my favorite things that I do for small business is I do customer interviews, because you get the little, I wish they did this, or I have a real problem and it's this, or there's something that always comes out in the conversation. And I find in like the reviews, the comments people put, that's where real gold comes out. And it's previously been really hard to analyze that and consolidate it, and also see patterns, because sometimes these sets are so vast of information. I mean, one thing we used to do when I used to work at Game is we used to have to narrow it down, because this is pre-AI really, is what we would do is we would just have a diverse customer panel, which was maybe like 20, 30 people, and we would use their insights. But then once again, it's a small pool, because that's how you coped with that qualitative research. But now, you see it on Amazon at the top of the reviews, it says customers, this is a summary of customer reviews. And, lots of people have connectivity issues, but they like the price and they like the look of it or something. That sort of stuff is becoming amazingly useful. So that's where I think that understanding, predicting customer behavior, I think that side of it is really coming into its own, because with that stuff, people are telling you how they're using products, they're telling you what they want from services, they're giving you the insight that you wouldn't get from just a tick box or a bit of informative data. So that's my thoughts. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, because as a data scientist myself, we play with data, and without data, AI is nothing. So when you have data, millions of billions of data, AI can give you prediction. AI can play with that. So when you talk about customer behavior, like Anna mentioned, qualitative and quantitative research, and as well as lots of data that it can skip through. As a human being, you can maybe read 10 or 15 or 100 reviews a day. But if you have a website and that website has millions of customers, targeting, like you have product, you have messaging, you have a lot of other things, you have reviews, people are clicking same time, maybe a million people clicked at the same time in different pages or same pages. Without AI, you cannot track them, you cannot it's not possible with a human. So AI is making these hell of things very easy, because it can track millions of data and millions of things. uh, like if you go to Facebook, if you browse something, maybe you are browsing something, a blender, and if you come out from there, you go to a website, and you will see the AdSense blender there, and it could be anything. It in a second it captures you, and if you're visiting somewhere else, captures your IP, and if you are going somewhere else, it's showing you like, okay, you are interested on that, so why don't you see it? So you can see that milliseconds it can capture human behavior. Doesn't matter any platform that you go, like big corporation, they have AI embedded behavior bot and system, so that like if you go to Google or YouTube or any other big corporations, they will capture your behavior, and that behavior will transmit to other applications as well. If you go to maybe you are going from Google to Facebook, or Facebook to Google, or Microsoft, they are all interconnected. They are all interconnected. So everything they do is just like analyzing your data, just like analyzing your behavior, what you want, what you're looking for, if you're sad, if you are happy, if you need something, if you are making a big argument, they knows everything.
The one
So
thing
yeah.
The one thing I really like as well is the fact that sometimes in marketing you can have lots of data that's from different sources, can't you? And like, for example, like if I have customer reviews and then I've got like how people use the website, and sometimes it's really hard to compare the data to see if there's a pattern between the two or a connection. But things like AI can really start bridging that gap, because they might see people commenting that like they didn't like the website and they struggled to check out, and then you can AI can also look at the data on the how people use their website and see how that actually they stopped on the pre-checkout page or something like that, and it can connect both of them together, can't it? So it's this sort of being able to spot these huge patterns between stuff that maybe to us doesn't look linked but actually is.
Mhm. Yeah, I think Muhammad, you have your answer, because AI is really changing the way brand understand and predict customer behavior in real time. They can do it, and we also, as a AI developer, we develop systems where we specifically tailor methodology. Like, okay, if a customer entered to the market, entered to the site, if it's an e-commerce site, then if they are adding something to their basket, and then how you can clear that basket on that money, you need to emphasize, you need to understand customer behavior that they check out that baskets. There are millions of people, they added things to the basket, but they never check out because they don't have that, they don't have that willingness, or they don't have that thing. So we specifically tailored methodology with working with brands, like, okay, we will safeguard like how you can more sales, how your basket is more towards the payment solution. So without AI, understanding customer, understanding those things, you cannot do it.
Yeah, and I think also, from past times when we used to personalize things, sort of going back to the personalization side of stuff. Mohammed sort of talking about real time. When we used to do personalization, we couldn't react to it like as nuanced as you can now with AI. So when we used to do it, we used to go, right, let's map out 10 different journeys of like what our average customer does. So it might be, if it was gaming, it might be that they are parents that are buying for Christmas. And we would map out a journey and we would try to like personalize this as best we could, because we're like, right, okay, so they've been on the gaming chair page because that's what the parents often bought. Right, we'll show them an ad for this game that's coming out this Christmas. Then we'll show them like maybe a second controller because they might want to play it with their family. It was quite scripted, completely scripted, these journeys. And we'd only end up doing 10, 20 journeys of the most important ones at that time. And I know AI has sort of come in and changed all that because it can actually personalize on the fly. Oh, this customer likes so-and-so. Oh, there's this product. I'll just show them, and it understands those customer journeys so much better. And saves you a lot of time, so you don't have to just literally script out a customer journey and spend time. And then it's after Christmas now, so we need to do new customer journeys for New Year or Easter or something. So it's things like that where you've got the behavior in real time, and then it's actually acting on it and personalizing. It's not just a website, is it? It's things like ads. So ads can write and generate you images on the fly and personalize them. So it's affecting both sides of it. So you've got the data, and then it's helping you react on the fly as well. So I'm loving how it's going in many regards to that. Although I have seen a few of the AI generated ads and haven't been fabulous. So we've got a bit of a way to go yet, I think, on that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because when you use AI to generate an image, if you are not an expert, you cannot get the right image to be done, because even if you add your direction, all those things, the normal things, they are not capable to do it. But if you think that you wanted to do Rubiera, like Trump, the advertisement, you see they have billions of views of that thing. That AI is different that we do, because that is customization AI, because they created everything with AI, but they are expert on that. So that's why they could do this kind of things. But if you are a standalone person, you don't have that tools, then I think you need to combine human touch and AI together to make it happen. Otherwise, people will understand an AI generated image and human generated image very well. So Anna, we are nearly end of our session. So I just wanted to talk about tools and platforms that drive personalized campaign, how we can do it, because you also use versatile tools. I also use versatile tools. I think we can give some examples of that to the audience.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, like, I do tend to stick to ChatGPT and things like that for my stuff. And I think one of the valuable things is creating your own GPTs. So the send example that I gave, you can almost ask ChatGPT to create you a GPT. It will give you the prompts, just from a starting perspective. If you've never done anything like this before, you can ask ChatGPT to create your GPTs. And like that example I gave you, where that guy uploaded all the council documents, that's not a hard thing to do. Get all your information, any presentation you've done, every document you've written, pop it in. Create a little bot that people can query and personalize things. I feel like that's a really nice first step for a lot of people, where not everything's personalized, but you've offered a little personalized widget or space for people to be able to get some of your knowledge and start understanding it. And then, like, for other examples, like if you are doing paid advertising, do check out things like some of the sort of options on social media, Facebook, and that of how they can do, you can do personalized marketing. Because if you're just a small company and you haven't got a team of graphic designers and copywriters, that might help fill that gap a little bit. Like we said, it's not perfect, but it's worth having a look at to be able to do that. What about you, Dr. Shah? What do you recommend?
I think if you are not a professional person, because if you are in a business and you wanted to do, because it is all about content nowadays, isn't it? Because the social media, and there is not only a single social media, it's multiple social media. If you talk about LinkedIn, if you talk about Facebook, if you talk about Instagram, these three mediums is more likely graphic design and graphic things, and as well as videos. If you think about TikTok or YouTube, that's totally different world. So I think to start with, if you don't have that bandwidth, you can do some low-paid graphic works with. There are many systems. I don't want to mention all of them. If you write ChatGPT, search, find me some low-paid graphic design AI system. It will list you a lot of system over there. You just go over there and try to find it. Is it appropriate for you? And then if you are semi-professional or full professional, like you have expertise on graphic design and content writing, all those things, you can improvise those things, because most of the time we use Adobe software, and as well as other mainstream software. Canva is a good thing, because they have tons of things over there. So you don't need to create anything by yourself. You can copy them, and then you can personalize it, and you can use them. And ChatGPT as well. If you want ChatGPT to draw you a picture or maybe make you something, it will do. But as I said, personalization again, because if you wanted to attract people, nowadays people understand that this is AI generated and this is human generated. But when you do a fusion, combine those things, it's hard for them, and they like it a most, exclusive things, and that can steer your personalization journey for marketing to the next levels.
Yeah, I think it's going back to what Thomas said as well, isn't it? That why, when you're picking a tool, make sure you know why you're doing it. What's the purpose and what's your goals? It can be, I get shiny object syndrome. Oh, I'm terrible at it, and I'm using all those different systems and trying them out, and actually, what is it you need to do right now? Is it marketing? Is it organization? What is it that's important to you? Because you can try lots of different systems out, but actually you need to start moving forward and growing. So I would be really careful, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Who's it for? And ask all those back to those basic questions, because they're really important, because we can easily as business owners get sidetracked. I know I certainly can. But I know that it's not just exclusive to us ADHDers either. There's all this exciting stuff going on, and we can easily spend hours tinkering our website instead of sending marketing emails out. So just be careful.
I totally agree with you, because not only you could post just for posting. No, don't post anything to your social media if that is not a habit. And you also need personalization, because you can try, if you are not regular on LinkedIn, you can try posting now and then. You will not see that your account is growing. It has to be a habit. continuous habit, like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, you post about attract. Wednesday you talk about nurturing, and Friday you talk about attracting people, so converting people, so attract, nurture, convert, and in between those days you need to make it personalization, like the people you meet and those things. People wanted to know that what you do personally, who do you talk to, and how do you talk to them. Those information, if you don't include on your LinkedIn or any other social media, then the account will not grow. It's just like a thing that you can practice yourself, because most of the people, they think that, okay, if I post, my account will grow. No, if you post now and then, your account will not grow, because LinkedIn also has an algorithm like any other medium. They have a specific algorithm to get you out there. And if you are not regular, they will not prioritize you. They will prioritize those people. They are regular and they have depth. That's another thing. And the why, as we said, you have to have a why. Like, who is it for? It can be everyone. It has to be someone, just your business, that you wanted to do your business with. That it has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we are nearly end of our session, Anna. At the end, do you want to share anything to the audience?
Look, do you know what? I think that AI is a really interesting journey, but you don't have to do it alone. Like, there's loads of us that are AI enthusiasts and we love talking about it. So, if you're sitting there doing AI, and have a look at different platforms and you don't know what to do, then, definitely reach out to us. Or, find there are lots of little AI groups around, communities where people are loving talking about it. I'm a big part of Mark Schaefer's Rise community, where we do loads of AI in there and future thinking. So find a few people that are interested and share stories, because that's how I've learned a lot about AI. Talking to friends like Dr. Shah, or through my communities, and I pick up stuff all the time and go to events. There's loads of AI events on everywhere all the time. Go along and find out. I mean, we've got someone here at the set coming here to the centre, and he's just going to do like basics, like how to respond to customer reviews with AI and things like that small businesses might not get time with. So have a think about like how you could not do this alone.
I totally agree with you, because you are a particular business for a particular reason. Think about what you wanted to do and what you wanted to achieve for yourself and for your clients. Because if you wanted to achieve for yourself, you're not going to get any client. It has to be a combination of both, that you succeed someone and you get the benefit out of it. Because you have to see people with other people lenses. Otherwise, it's not possible. Like Anna said, because we discussed it last time, that you need to see you from behind the jar. If you're
Yeah.
in the jar,
That's John Asperian, who asked the question earlier. That's what he that was where I first heard the saying, can't you see the label from inside the jar?
yeah,
So
yeah. So you need to see what your audience are looking for, and not everyone looking for. Targeted niche, why, and then utilize them to grow your network and see who is the right people. You might go to here and there at the beginning. That's okay, because otherwise you will not find niche people. You can go with them, meeting, booze, drinking, socializing, all those things you can do to get your desired things, like the pain point, and how you can serve them to, overcome their barriers. Then, as a business person, you will get your success. Otherwise, no.
love it.
So, thank you, everyone. We will come back again next month, and
Yep.
we will up our events, and we will talk a specific point that time. Until then, I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui and Anna from Inton. we're going to say bye-bye for now and talk to you and discuss a new point next month. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.